Hello and welcome back to the PIN Podcast. We're in episode number 32, and the PIN Podcast is a place where we talk about modern topics with a vintage flair. I'm your host, PinUp Miami, and you could follow me on Instagram at PinUp Miami or my YouTube, PinUp Miami, where you could also watch the podcast, the PIN Podcast, or follow the PIN Podcast on Instagram at the PIN Podcast Official to hear about guests, news, and to send me a message if there's somebody you want on the show or any topics you want to cover. You could also send the text at 1-833-4A-PINUP, and I will answer back any questions that you have. Could be podcast related, vintage related, pinup related, anything your little heart desires. If you're listening for the first time, I want to say thank you for clicking. I hope that you stay and enjoy the content that we have on here. And if you're a returning listener, I want to say thank you so much. You mean the world to me. This podcast would not be possible without you, and I appreciate it. And if you want to help out, make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any podcasting station, rate my podcast a 5. And if you want, put your Instagram handle on there so I know that it's you. Now, today's guest is Brandi Guerrero. She is also known as Brandi Bravado. Her Instagram is Brandi_Bravado. I'll also put her info down below. I asked her to be on the show today because she's always giving back to the community in ways that, is so easy that people just don't do. And I feel like that's missing out. She's also a pinup model. She's published. She's been in my pinup contest. And I've seen her evolve in so many things. And she's beautiful inside and out. So welcome, Brandi. How are you?
Thank you so much, Jen. I am actually doing quite well. Like you were saying, giving back to the community is one of the best things that, for me, I can do. Just paying it forward is the best thing we can do. It could be from something as small as making sandwiches to distributing, hygiene things that people need. Anything, any type of service, any little bit helps. And last year I was able to do a little, not as much as I would have liked to, because of the pandemic. There was a lot of people staying home, a lot of social distancing, and with respect, we have to respect what those guidelines are. But I had my niece call me, and we were able to go out and feed the homeless. So she called me and she was like, "Hey, Tia, I want to go out and I want to feed the homeless, but I don't know where." And I was like, "I know exactly where." So we went ahead. She had a whole bunch of donated food. I added to the donated food and we went out. And the funny thing is that this is not something that I've just been doing since last year. This is something that I've done whenever I possibly can. I had another situation where there's a certain store that if they sell the most Reese's Pieces, mind you, I'm on a diet, but they're trying to sell the most Reese's Pieces, and the number one store, everybody gets a $50 bonus, which I think is ideal because right now everybody needs that money. So it was like, okay. So I went ahead and I bought 20 Reese's Pieces Buttercups, and I'm thinking, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this because I'm not going to eat this. So I ended up just giving it away. But the whole concept is paying it forward. And a lot of people need to know that there are people who are naturally out there to give back. It's not because I deem anything in return for it. It's just that it makes me feel good as a person, as a humanitarian, to go out there and do for others. That's just like we had the bingo.
Yes, at the nursing home. Was it a hospice or a nursing home? Now I don't.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago. No, 1 year ago.
Yeah, the Christmas. And you were like, "Hey, we're gonna, as rewards, shampoo and conditioner." I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes." And I just like ran to the store and just started getting big bottles of everything. And I also coupon and I bargain shop. So then there's things that are like $6, $7. And I just by chance get it for $1 or $2 or even free because there's reward bucks or whatever. And it's like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go for it.
That's awesome. I know a lot of people that coupon, but yet they sell their stuff. And I love that you give it back to people. Because it's also like a team effort. Because if the person I know some people think that they're just in the corner of the street, but if you help them out, I'm sure they're willing to help other people. And it's just a chain of effect. What is it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a random act of kindness.
Yes.
And it has that effect.
And definitely. Your children and your nieces, they all get involved. I mean, they message you.
Yes. They'll actually be like, hey, let's go and do that. And I'll be like, yeah, let's go. And it doesn't matter. It was funny that day. I was like ready to go to the laundromat, which I just like the laundry. Gosh, the laundry will always be there for you.
Yes.
Always. And when she called, I was like, yeah, let's just put this to the side. Let's go. And we just went out there, and it was good because we even, I love animals. So there was this guy who was homeless and he had an animal, and we were like, here, he needs a bottle of water and he needs this too. And, for a short segment of the time I was out there, I put it on my live. Now I don't save those things because I don't feel the need to be rewarded for those things. I just feel that people should know that you don't need to be a part of a nonprofit organization. If you decide to assist with a nonprofit organization, that's great. But we as people could just go out there and do it. Just go out there, go to the sites where there are people that are homeless or people who are in need. Even the elderly, they need that time and they need that attention. Sometimes they're left in group homes, and in Miami-Dade, we have so many group homes. We have so many adult living facilities where people are just left there and they're not, deemed as part of society anymore, in a sense that
even their own family.
Exactly. That was like that guy that we went to see, and his wife had called us over, and he was like, oh my God, you guys are so beautiful. Yes. And he started crying, and it was so funny because BB was like, no, and she just like ran out because she didn't want to start crying, and I was trying to hold it in, and it was just like, that was like big to him. And it didn't cost anything but time. Yeah. Time and energy. So it's just like those things. And I know that I was speaking with Bernadette, who was saying we were going to do more things. Yes. As this year comes along. So
in Pintown, Florida, she's going to take more hold of it, and she's going to really make it more community based. And I told her to work with you, because I know that you're always willing. Like you said, it's so important. You don't need to be part of anything, but if people need an excuse, we're going to give an excuse for them to want to be involved, because it really does help everyone together, like in a cycle. And I want to ask you a question. I saw on TikTok, I believe we talked about this before, that there was a girl that quit her job because she worked at Bath and Body. I get Bath and Body Works and Bad Bath and Beyond confused, but Bath and Body Works, the one with the lotions. And she told her, she had homeless people in the back of dumpster diving for lotions and stuff. And her boss, she was like, okay, I'm all over the place here. She works there, and she noticed that all the homeless people would, jump in the garbage and get the lotions and shampoos when they were thrown away or returns. And then she told her boss, why don't we just give it to them? And her boss was like, well, from now on, we're just going to pour them out because we don't want our brand associated with homelessness. And I mean, they're going to throw it away either way. She didn't have to be rude. She quit the next day because she didn't feel right. How do you feel about companies that throw away? I mean, I didn't even think about it until I saw that TikTok, that there's companies that throw away so much stuff that could be used by other people. I mean,
well, that's the problem. Society has gone into I want to sue you, lawsuit. So there's a lot of companies like Speedway who they make good food. They make hoagies. They make
the gas station.
Yeah, the gas station. And one day I was going in at 7, and they were throwing away all this food made that day. And I was like, hey, is there any way possible I can get that? Because I know somewhere in Hollywood Beach, there's a whole bunch of homeless people, and I could just go over there and give it to them. And they were like, no, we can't do that. And the lady even called her supervisor, and they weren't allowed to do that. What I later on found out in the food industry is that it's a legal liability, because if they get sick off the food, they can sue you.
Hmm.
But I mean, I guess that's with anything. I guess if they took the lotion that was in the garbage and they got an infection, or they had an open wound and it infected them some way, that it's a liability for the company itself. Now, I think that there should be a happy medium where if they find something that it was just the seal was broken, or you know the food was made and it was made that day, if there's a waiver that we could like sign so that we could give that away, it's just like letting these people know, hey, look, we're doing this in kindness. This is not for you to seek restitution or vengeance or whatever, because a lot of people want to help. And I feel really bad that I'm sure the lady at Bath and Body Works, she had the great idea. It is a great concept. It is the right way to go about it. And the other one saying it equates to homelessness, it's not necessarily, because we're all human. I mean, there's people, and this is just to go to show, just because people are homeless do not mean that they do not have money. There's a lot that have mental illnesses out there, and they're actually rich. They have a guardianship. They own millions of dollars. They own houses. They own property. They hold a lot of things. But because they have a mental illness, they find themselves on the street. So it doesn't necessarily mean that those that you see on the street don't have it. It's just that they're not there. They're not in their right mind. And I guess when a lot of people see homeless people, they're like, oh, well, they're dirty. Oh, they don't want to do anything with their lives. And that's just not necessarily the case. At some point, they've lost hope in something, or something dramatic has happened. They lost somebody in their family, and it can happen to any of us. Like, our mental health is really important, and then it just goes. And we just have to show kindness. So, I mean, I guess for companies in that, like food companies and that, if there was a waiver, we can have, hey, look, this is just, we're giving you this food, just sign this waiver, that we're not doing this in harm. We're doing this because we care. Then I think that a lot of companies would be willing to move forward. But it has a lot of legalities.
I thought Panera Bread gave their food away at the end of the day.
I don't know. I know that Publix donates, I heard on Tuesdays they donate to certain charities, nonprofits, like from the bakery. They'll donate the bread, they'll donate the donuts, our infamous guayaba y queso, pastelitos. If you're in Miami, you gotta have one. You just gotta have one.
And croquetas.
And croquetas. So, I mean, there are certain organizations that are playing it forward, but there's a lot that are scared because of the liability that comes with it.
And you're right. Yeah, there shouldn't, and it's all about education, because look, you saying that, it makes sense hearing it and being, because everyone is so happy. I could see why somebody would hesitate. So I have another question for you that I wanted to know your opinion on, is when you go to the grocery store or Target or anywhere and you check out, they always ask, well, not always, but sometimes ask you, oh, would you like to donate to this organization, like $1 or whatever? Now, do you feel like that donation is just a way for the companies to look good? Or because when they get the donations, at the end of the day, it's donated by Target and then they get like a tax break.
That is true. That is true. There are certain nonprofit organizations that have to take care of their staff prior to actually taking care of the need of the reason why the organization is done. I think it has a lot to do with researching and seeing what percentage is actually going, and is that percentage being...
I wonder if that's public. Is that public?
Yeah, it is public record. There was actually a gentleman that I met in the Walmart parking lot that's called Heifer, like a female cow, heifer.com. And what they do is they go to third world countries, and you're donating money, like $25 a month for a year. And that money is given so that they can buy them chickens, goats, and cows. And it's because they utilize it. They take it. They have the animal procreate. So they have their eggs, they have their chicken, and it continues and it helps them. It helps them. It helps their neighbors.
It's not just a one-time solution.
No, it's not.
I like that.
So, I mean, I find myself running into these organizations like, yeah, let's do this. Like, yeah, let's go out there. Like, one of my ideals is my youngest one in 9 years will be a young adult. And I was telling my boyfriend, I want to go to Africa. There's actually a place for elephants that their mothers are killed for their ivory.
Oh.
And they actually have to bring the baby elephant up. They have to like rehabilitate them because they go into a depression. So they rehabilitate them and then they set them out back into the wild. So there's things of that nature that you'll see. There's I forgot the name of it. It was an organization I used to give to. There's also the shoebox. I don't know if you've ever seen the shoebox.
Yeah, they send it to the army, the shoebox.
No, they actually they give you a shoebox, right? And I think you pay $14. You put toys and everything for kids. It's for kids and it's for Christmas time.
Oh.
And then what they do is they get all these boxes and then they send them to children and families in third world countries. And you can even write to them. Sometimes they'll write back to you like, oh, thank you for this t-shirt. Thank you for these crayons and this coloring book. So I even started doing that with my kids. Like for Christmas, there's no gifts. Like that's so commercialized for us in the United States that I needed my kids to know, look, there's people who don't have Christmas, that don't have what you have, coloring books, crayons, markers, little bracelets for girls. So I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. This year, you guys get a shoebox each. And what we're going to do is you're going to fill this with toys. And you're going to pick whether it's a boy or girl. They have 3 age groups. We're going to check it off. We're going to put the $14 for each box. And we're going to send it off. And so I've been doing that with my kids as well. My job actually, a lady at my job does that as well. So it's like I said, there's just little things you can do. You can either do it with an organization or you could do it on your own.
And I love that because then your kids learn, that you have it. There's certain people that don't have the lifestyle you have. And if you could give back, you might as, give back because they're going to appreciate those crayons that you're taking for granted. They're going to appreciate those toys that you're just going to have in the shelf, Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm happy that I'm able to give to my kids, but I think sometimes children, in this day and age, because we try to improve for them, so that they have a better life and well-being, they become sheltered. And then they fail to realize the struggle that we went through at a young age, and they lose what it is. Like I remember having crayons, and like if it was wearing down, we tore off the paper and we sharpened it and we used it until it was like a nub. Same thing with pencils. We used it until it was a nub because we valued the things we had. Now, I'm not saying all children don't do that, but I think that they fail to they fail to see that because they're being provided for. Mm-hmm. And that's a great thing, but sometimes we have to bring it back so that they understand, hey, look, you're being provided for, but there's a lot of people that do not have. There's a lot of people that need. There's a lot of people that will value the things. And it was funny because this Christmas, we didn't get to do the shoebox event, but my daughter, I had given her a $10 sitting fee because I had a job that I was doing. And I was like, okay, so every time you come to this job, you sit down, I'm going to give you $10. So she did that. And then she had her money. And the first thing she said, we went to the store and I said, okay, well, now you have your money. Let's show you some responsibility. If you want this is how much you have. This is how much it is. So she was like, well, Mom, you know what? I want to buy for my cousin for Christmas this year. And she went ahead and because they love Minecraft, she went and bought her cousin something for Christmas. So as opposed to her thinking about herself, it was like, hey, look, I need to think about this person. I need to do something for somebody else. And she felt great. And then it was funny because the following week she was with her dad, and I was like, oh, well, I'll take it to your cousin. And she's like, no, I'm going to take it to her.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. So, it's just like showing that effect so that my kids can start doing that as well.
And that must have made you so proud as a parent when she said, oh, no, I want to give my cousin something.
It is. Even with my oldest son, he works in home goods. And he was telling me he had helped this elderly lady take all her stuff to the car. Now, naturally, I'm not sure if they always do that or not, but I guess he's seen that she was in a bit of distress and he took it. And he goes, Mom, she said, tell your mom I said thank you for raising a gentleman like you. And I was like, yes, this is what, yes, I was like, this is my reward. This is what my hard work does. This is my reward, just that my kids are playing it forward. So it's a domino effect.
Yeah, those people will hopefully pay it forward.
Yes.
And then it just keeps going. And that's why we should never, even especially now during like COVID, a lot of people have lost their jobs. They don't have money to pay the bills. They're struggling. I know a couple people, that can't even pay their light or house bills, and they're just getting like loans. So we don't know the situation that everyone is going through. So the best way is, I think number one is to be kind to everyone.
Yes.
Because you never know the story that somebody else is going through. Is to appreciate what you have. And just because you have something doesn't mean you should assume somebody else has it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that we forget. And hopefully 2020, out of 2020, I hope we've shown an appreciation for our neighbors, meaning like the people around us.
No, that's like also people in the restaurant business, servers. Yes. A lot of people are not aware that what you give them in tips through your card is taxed or deducted from that. So you may give them a $5 tip and they're not seeing the whole $5. So I make sure that when I go out to a restaurant,
you have cash.
I have cash. Even if it's just for that person, like I have the cash for that person and then I'll pay the rest on the card because it's something that's needed.
Yeah. And every penny counts because that's part of their pay. That's why they get even below minimum. Well, there is a minimum wage for waitressing, but it's way below the normal minimum wage. And they live off the tips like all the other service industries. So if you get that deduction on top of tax, and then you get those rude people that think that just because your meal is late, it was probably not the waiter,
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to punish them? So it's you have to take consideration of others.
Exactly. There was the Denny's off of Biscayne and 36.
Mm-hmm.
They went through the pandemic, and there was a lady who helped me out. She was my server there. I went out with my cousin to eat, and then she was like, "Oh, well, they're closing us down again." And my heart went out to her, like, they're closing you down again. If they're closing you down again, that means you don't have to take care of you and your family. So I was telling my cousin, like, dude, right? And he's like, yeah, I know. Go ahead. I know how you are. Go ahead. So, instead of the 18, 15, or 25% we gave, I gave a certain amount that was more than that. And it was just because I understand, like, she has kids. She's a mom. I have kids. I have a mom. Just because I'm fortunate that I have my job doesn't mean that I can't help somebody else. Because one day it could be me. It just could be me. So when I see certain things like that, it's just like, hey, here. And it's like, you're just like sliding it to them. They're like, why are you like, why not?
Yeah. And people get surprised when you're nice,
Yeah.
So what, do you have any plans for, any community service planned, or you just, how do you, okay, I know your niece messaged you last time that you went out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really record anything live. I caught you on that live because it was, I forgot what day it was. I was home and I saw it pop up. Brandi is live on Instagram. But how do you decide, or do you have a set schedule? So you have something for Christmas for your kids that you guys do together.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just like every other weekend, or whenever you find an excess of stuff that you have and that you decide to cook something and bring it out? How does that go?
It's just, it could be anything. If I see somebody who needs something, I'll just go ahead and take it. If I go on my coupon excursion, I'll just be like, hey, look, I got extra stuff. You know, with the whole pandemic, just to make a haha about it, you know, we ran out of toilet paper. At one point, we ran out of toilet paper.
That was a big deal.
That was a huge deal, right? So I found myself, oh my geez, I have no more toilet paper. And it just so happened that I had the extra bucks there. So I got me like an 18 pack of Cottonelle that's like $16 for 56 cents. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So like, if somebody's like, hey, look, you know, just listening to somebody, oh no, you know, I was supposed to buy some shampoo, or I forgot to buy some body wash, or yeah, I needed some deodorant, but I just couldn't get to it right now. She's like, hey, here. Hey, here. Or, you know, oh, I got this here. And I literally, it's funny because I have a little crate in my car where I have detergent and fabric softener. Because like I said, laundry you will never be left alone by laundry.
Laundry is more reliable than men, apparently.
Right? You know, you're always going to need it, and it will always be there for you. Right? So, I forgot who had asked me. I was like, oh man, I don't have no laundry soap. So I was like, oh, okay, I got this. And they were like, what do you mean you got this? So I opened the thing and I'm like, oh, which one you want? You want Tide or you want all?
You were prepared.
Yeah. Or look, we got some fabric softener here. You know, we can make this happen. Do you want Suavecito? Or do you want Snuggles? And they're like, what are you doing? You don't even need to worry about that. If you need it, here it is.
Yeah.
So,
aww.
And that's basically it. I mean, that for me is more fulfilling than anything.
And do you? So I'm assuming you believe in karma. Like, you feel like your life is happier since you're giving back.
Oh yes. That's actually it's fulfilling for me. It really is. Like when you caught that live and we went out there, we were literally out there. We did 100 and something sandwiches with no more than $29. We made all those sandwiches and water and whatnot. And we were done in a half an hour. Then when I got back, my niece's mom was like, you guys are done? You got rid of all of it? And I'm like, yeah,
there's a lot of people.
There was a lot of people there. And it was like probably a 4-block radius around Jackson Hospital. And they were there and they have their little tents. They actually have a neighborhood of tents. And they were out there and we just went ahead and we just, hey, you know, my nephew was really bold about it and I love him to death about that. He was like, hey, you hungry? And he's like, yeah. And he didn't want us to go by ourselves. So he's like, yeah, you know, we're going to go. And he started giving out, hey, man, hey, come over here. You hungry? And it was just, I loved it. I just loved it because they were showed by me and their mom doing that. When we were in their church, we used to give out boxes of food. And it was with a local pantry. So we would get out boxes of food to people who needed food, that were in need. And then it was like, hey, just come on over. This is your box. We just want you to fill out this paper for the pantry because they want to keep a log, I guess the legalities of it as well. And it was just, it's fulfilling. For me, it's fulfilling. And it's funny, they gave to my daughter, there was a church we were going to, and they were like, okay, well, your assignment is that when you come, you got to bring a canned good. So this little girl was literally taking 2 or 3 cans out of my cupboard to take it to church because we were going to give it to somebody else. So it was like, yeah, just go for it.
Aww.
Just go for it. Yeah. Like, you okay? I was like, are you going to share your Chef Boyardee with them too? And she's like, and I'm like, hey, If you're gonna take corn, you might as well give them Shep Boyardee too, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have any tips for anyone that just wants to volunteer? I would say, well, what are your tips first?
If you know a location, if you know an area where you know that there's somebody who's in need, if you know of a group home or an adult living facility that you've probably passed by 1,000 times and you're just wondering, hey, has somebody come by and seen them? Has somebody just give them the gift of something? They enjoy hygiene products. Believe me, they enjoy it.
That bingo, it went a little crazy.
It was serious.
The giveaways were just lotion, shampoo, cologne, like little aloe gloves and little booties and socks. And everyone was really intense into this bingo game because they wanted to win these prizes.
So yeah, just go, just donate, just go knock on the door to that ALF, that adult facility. The administrator will open up and you can just ask them, hey, look, is there anything I can just do for you? Or, hey, look, I found all these socks that I got from the Dollar General, which the Dollar General has penny shopping. Mind you, best thing ever. Best thing. Can you
explain? I know what penny shopping is, but explain to somebody who's never heard of it.
Okay. Well, basically, with the penny shopping, you're not allowed to ask the employees what's a penny. It's basically like going on a scavenger hunt. Mm-hmm. And then you get the app, you scan it, and it'll give you the price of what it is. So,
and it's a penny.
Once I went with my niece and her mom, and we went to one of the Dollar Generals, and we were looking, and we found a whole bucket load of makeup for a penny each. And we're talking about mascara, lip gloss, palettes. Her mom found bows for the hair and that, and she donated. She was talking about sending out to Nicaragua because they had a situation over there, devastation. So sending stuff out to them and that. And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Is there a limit or can you just buy all of them?
No, you can buy all of them.
That's what I was curious about.
So we're going through there and we're passing one in. And then there was this area where they were selling like spring items. And I got like a water can for 15 cents and barbecue utensils for like 45 cents. And I'm like, yeah, so this, the
register lady.
Yeah, the register guy's like passing this and he's like, wait, what's going on here?
100 items for $1.
Yeah, right? And I'm like, I can't say, or I don't know if I'm allowed to say it because we're not supposed to ask them.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if we were allowed to tell them, like, hey. And he's like, look, I don't know what you were doing in the store that you managed to get it. And it's mind you, it's like, okay, this is my mascara and there's a scanner. Like, once they pass it through the scanner, there's no trick. It will come out to a penny. And then it's like, all right, I got this. So cool, this is a penny. So that's what I would do. Oh, who needs socks? Okay, here, everybody have socks. And they're like, where are you? I was like, look, $5, got it for $1. Just saying, 5 pairs for $1. You're not going to catch this. So it's like, here you go. Everybody has socks. So it's just, if I can do that on a small scale, I don't mind doing it on a bigger scale. And it's just all of us getting together.
Yeah.
It's just knocking on the door. Hey, look, I know you needed this. I understand there is the concept of people who have pride, and you're not going to get everybody, not everybody's going to be satisfied with that. Yeah. But, you do what you can from your heart. And like the group home we went to, I love the nursing home.
Yeah.
And I've done nursing homes in college. I've actually did a fashion show in college for a nursing home.
Ooh.
I was a part of the gospel ensemble in college as well. So we used to go and sing for the elderly as well. And these are things that you can do and just spend time with that. And this, I had started this in high school. I was part of Aspira, and we would go out there, and we had bingo. And
Bingo
oh
is a
man,
thing.
bingo is serious. Bingo is a really serious game. And I mean, they want a roll of toilet paper, and you're thinking, but it's toilet paper. Like,
But
what
to
does it
them,
matter?
it means
the
world.
everything.
And like you said with the gentleman that we went in his room, he just wanted some kind of normalcy and seeing other people. I mean, I'm sure he loves seeing his wife every day, but to see like other women dressed up, it's just amazing. The year before we did the bingo, the year before we went to a women's shelter that was women that had either they were in crime or recovering from drugs. So we provided gifts because they can't leave their facilities, and they either have children that are babies or smaller, and they were missing feminine products, stuff that you don't think because they're so normal in all of our lives. Like they were missing, pads. I feel like pads and women feminine products are always forgotten.
Yeah.
So we donated that and toys for their children. And that one was really emotional. I don't know if you went to that one.
I didn't get to go, but I seen the pictures.
That one was we couldn't even post that much because of the legality of the pictures and who was in there. But we didn't do it for any pictures. We did it for help, and these children and were so happy. The mothers were happy. Because they knew they weren't going to get anything for their children because they're just there trying to recover. And then when we also donated feminine products that they were missing, it was like, not they get feminine products, but it's like these paper thin things that we know as women that they don't work.
Yeah, you need the real deal.
Like, what if you have a heavy flow? What do you have all these things, So providing them different type of feminine products, soap, shampoo, again, these are things we take for granted because, we get them, we could get them at the dollar store, but some of these people can't leave their center and they're given these little bottles. Maybe the kid spills it by mistake or something. They use it on their kid first and then they're left with nothing. So my advice for community service is being kind. That's like the easiest thing anybody could do is being kind online, in person. Again, respecting people because you never know what people are going through. And it's really sad when I go out in public and you see like kids being rude, or adults, because you don't have to be a kid to be rude, being rude to like older gentlemen, not giving the seat on the bus for people that really need it. Different things like that I love that how you're educating your children to give back. I mean, I'm amazed that even for when she had money to buy whatever she wanted, she just wanted to give it to her cousin. And that's what we're missing in the world, is people thinking of others.
Yeah, you have to, consider that one day, okay, if you have everything, you have a house, you have a car, you have a job, there's something that you want more. There's something that you want to build on. And maybe you're stopping that blessing from happening because there's something more you need to do out in the world. So then all of a sudden that opportunity arrives without you considering it because you're doing what you need to do. So then your manifestation comes to pass. So it's like I tell my kids, and even in bargain shopping, I tell my kids, hey, you save on what you need so that you could do what you could have for the things you want.
Oh, I like that.
Because there's coupons, and there's like CVS has extra bucks, and the Dollar General and Walmart have scavenger hunts. I've literally gone into Walmart, bought 2 sweat sets and 2 flannel shirts for my kids and only paid $12. And we're talking about flannel shirts that were $30. I found it for $3. And sweat sets that I found that were $12 for $3. So you could give that set of clothes to somebody else, or you just may need it. Jeans that are $20 I've found for $3. Shirts for $2 that were $10. So there is that way of, these are things you need. These are essential things you need. You need clothes. You need hygiene products.
Food.
You need food. Exactly. So, okay, these are the things I save on because I can, but not essentially the things that you want. You can save on because sometimes there's no discount. There's nothing.
That's true.
So you're waiting for that manifestation to happen, even though you have it in front of you. And I've went ahead, bought a vision board, and I showed my kids, hey, look, this is what we need to do. You have to visualize what you want to do. And one of the ones on my vision board is giving back, giving to charity, doing something. It doesn't essentially have to, like I said, be with a nonprofit organization. A lot of people, sadly enough, don't believe in the nonprofit organization because they don't see the product actually happening. So, okay, make sandwiches, go out there, give it to somebody, network with one of your local stores. Hey, look, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm organizing. You think you could help me? And then just go ahead and give it out.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Exactly.
Sounds cliche, but it's true.
Exactly. You have to, like, there's so many things we want, but there's so many things that are needed. So maybe that's just like your manifestation. While you're giving and you're doing what you have to do, your manifestation comes to pass. And that happens for a lot of people. Like, I really love the home makeover they used to play on ABC. And these people would donate food from their house was falling apart, and then boom, home makeover, given house completely torn down, given a bigger house, given a better house, absolutely free. And they weren't even considering it, but there was other people that seen the fruits of their labor. So because they seen the fruits of their labor, they ended up receiving something that they had a mind for it, but they weren't considering it at the moment. So.
Oh, Brandi, thank you for sharing. I love it. This has been a very insightful episode, and I hope people are motivated to do their part. If not, join or do their part on their own, because it's easy. It's just taking that one step of getting out of your comfort zone, making, if you coupon and have extra stuff, or if you have anything you don't use or don't appreciate, give it away. There's going to be somebody. And I appreciate you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And I'm going to ask Brandi to give me the names of a couple of places if you are interested in donating or helping out, and I'll put it in the comments below.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And that way you could get involved as well. And again, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next week, I am going to have a comedy musical local here in Miami. The producer, it's called Radio Rock and Roll. And I'm going to talk to them about their show, how COVID impacts their show. I had the opportunity of going to a private viewing of their show, a little one, not like the whole show. And I can't wait to hear about it and learn more about him and his program. It might be a little Spanglish, but I think you guys like it, because every time I have an episode that is Spanglish, seems to have the most views. And that is the Miami way. So I want to tell you all, thank you for listening and sticking through. I hope to see you all next Wednesday, and have a blessed week. Be safe, and I love you all. And bye-bye.